Hi everyone. Today I want to share with you a super simple but super delicious restorative pose. This can be especially supportive for those of us who might find ourselves sitting for long periods of the day. It gives you a nice gentle opening across the front of your hips, and it's just a nice pose to be in. So what you'll need is a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, you can get a thick, firm, long pillow. That could work too. Or you might stack two of them together if you need something a little higher. Or if you don't have pillows, even with blankets, you have a thick blanket, you can really, roll up one or even stack two blankets together and roll them up so that they can um, be used as a bolster. You'll also need at least one blanket. If you have more blankets that you want to bring into the practice, by all means do it. But otherwise, just a blanket here or something soft to support your head. If you have yoga blocks, you can certainly bring them into the practice. You may or may not need them, but I love having my props close by no matter what pose that I'm doing, so that I can always support myself. There may be poses that you do that you are quite familiar with, and perhaps you don't normally need to use props for certain poses, but there are certain days when our bodies, our stress levels, our energy is different. And so you might find that even for poses that you are very familiar with, that on some days you could benefit from using props, so that you might be able to find a little more release or be able to settle in a little better if you do support yourself a little more that day. So if you do have your yoga blocks, you can have them handy just in case. And then I always love to just have a few extra blankets close by, again, just in case. All right. Now to come into this pose, it's pretty straightforward, it's pretty simple. So on one end, you're gonna have the bolster, and you're gonna have your feet over your bolster on one end and your head onto the blanket at the other end. So to set up, you're just gonna spin your legs towards the bolster, and you might have to adjust how far away the bolster is once you're in the pose. So don't worry too much right now. We can do some adjusting as we go. So what we'll do is we'll lie down onto the blanket, and again, you might fix this position, the position of the pillow, so that it comes underneath your head and it's comfortable. And then you're going to rest your feet on top of the bolster. Your knees are bent for now. And you might need to make any adjustments here. And then once you're ready, you're going to start to draw the soles of the feet together and allow the knees to splay open. Your hands, you can either rest them on your belly, you might have them by your sides, palms up, and you might just feel into this pose what needs to be adjusted here. Now, sometimes it might feel like this is too much, and you might adjust the bolster. You can either bring the bolster a little bit closer to you and see how that feels, because as you do, you're going to have more support all along the forelegs here, and that might feel a little better. Or you might want to have the bolster a little bit further away. You can just push the bolster away with your feet, and then so your knees are not as bent. Now it's also to note, you don't have to draw the soles of the feet together. You can have your feet a little bit wider apart, and that's okay too. So give yourself a moment just to adjust the bolster and see whether you want the bolster closer to you, and bring more of the bolster underneath your foreleg for support, and your knees obviously will be more bent. Or you might want to have the bolster further away, your feet a little bit further apart, and then just see how this feels. Now, if this feels good, you could stay right here. But sometimes it could be nice to add a little support underneath the thighs. Here's where your yoga blocks could come in handy. So you might want to grab your blocks and place your blocks underneath the thighs. And I usually like to set my blocks at a bit of an angle so that the flat side of the block is supporting my thighs. If I had the blocks just sitting vertically like this, as I bring my thigh across, it's kind of, sometimes it's not very stable, or I might land on the edge and it might not be very nice. So I have it at a bit of an angle, but this is of course your personal preference. You might choose that a certain or a different way of placing the blocks are going to be better for you. And again, this might be where you want to stay. Now, if you don't have any blocks to support your thighs, that is all good. You can grab an extra couple of blankets, and you might just roll them up. Here's one, and then you can place one blanket here for support. And the thickness, of course, is going to depend on how much support you want and how high you need this support to be. And so if this is not high enough, you might stack two of these blankets together and roll them up so that the roll is a little bit larger. You can place them underneath and adjust as you need so that you're comfortable where you are. If you don't have blankets, extra cushions, or anything else that can give you that bit of support, you can be a little bit more creative and see what you can use here. And then you can allow the arms to relax. Again, your arms might be out by your sides, palms facing up, or it might feel better to have your hands on your belly, maybe even one on your heart and one on your belly. However, let me change so you can see on this side. What I find is when I have my hand on my heart, this elbow is kind of just hanging off. And so you might want to stuff another blanket underneath to give you that support if that's where you want to place your hand. And otherwise, just finding a position that works. And then just allow yourself to settle here. Once all the adjustments are made, and you allow your body to find stillness, this kind of comfortable or relaxed quietness. And you might tune into your breath here. Perhaps taking your breath deep down into the belly. And exhale, letting go. Letting go of any tension that you might be holding onto in your body. Or even any tension mentally or emotionally. So allow your exhale to help you to find release, help you to let go of whatever that is no longer serving you in this moment. Now you're more than welcome to stay here for as long as you need. So you might pause the video here and then turn it back on as you feel like you're ready to come back out. And whenever you feel ready, you might start to bring some movements back into your body, wriggling your fingers, your toes, just adding some gentle movements. You might blink your eyes open and close. Then you can use your hands to gently draw your legs together. You can plant the feet back down. You can push your bolster away and have your feet down on the ground. If there are any blocks or blankets in your way, you can gently remove them. You can walk your feet in. You might even gently just sway your knees side to side. Just gentle movements here. Might feel good to bring your legs towards your chest and give them a hug and gently rock side to side. Maybe drawing circles, going one way and the other way. And then as you feel ready, you can bring the feet back down. You can roll over to your favorite side. If you want, you can hang out here for another breath or two. And as you feel ready, you can use your hand to gently help press you back up to a comfortable seated position. So I hope you enjoyed that pose. You can do this, only takes you a few minutes, but it can make such a difference at the end of the day. All right, connect with you next time. Take care, everyone.